So you just heard Chris Ballard talk about competition's a great thing, and obviously he's going to say that. And it is a great thing. I meant what I said, too, that we, tell our kids at home, hey, if this didn't go your way, guess what? Do better the next time, or understand not everything's going to go your way. As I said yesterday, failure in our world, or lack of success is one way to put it also, sometimes is viewed as a sign of weakness. That's a problem. But when you draft somebody, when they drafted Anthony Richardson, your hope is there doesn't need to be any competition. He's just going to come straight out of the box, or whenever he's going to start, he's going to win a lot of football games. He will not have an injury bug about him. And then on top of it, he's not going to say stuff like, you know what, I came out of the game because I was tired, or get tired, or do silly things like that. And whatever he has shown off field and whatever he has shown on field has caused the Indianapolis Colts to say this individual needs a push. And it's going to come in the form of a guy who was a first-round draft choice, number 6 overall, in his spot in New York, who wound up getting flat-out cut. Didn't want him around anymore. Let Minnesota have him. You take him, because we're done with Daniel Jones. And I heard Daniel Jones had more money on the table in Minnesota than what Chris Ballard offered him, and he took less money because if he's going to stay in Minnesota, he knows the only opportunities there is if J.J. McCarthy isn't either A, physically ready, or B, falters, and they're going to give J.J. McCarthy every opportunity to not need competition. So let's go to the spot where there's competition, and I'm being told I've got a real shot to start. There's no other way Daniel Jones shows up in Indianapolis without that assurance of there's going to be a competition. You're going to have to win it. But if you win it, job's yours. And he's like, I'll bet on myself, and I will go to a spot where Shane Steichen is going to help me RPO my way back into the status that I hoped I could get in New York when I was drafted, or get the contract and second shot success of Baker Mayfield, Jared Goff, Geno Smith. We can go down the list. And just to repeat what I said at the top of this segment, if they put the thumb on the scale for the kid that they drafted high, it's Anthony Richardson's job. If it's a straight-up competition, I think Daniel Jones will win it. Because he's got more experience, and he's got a skill set that so far is, based on everything you see and hear, more professional than Anthony Richardson's. Yeah. And if the head coach and the GM are supposedly sitting on a seat that might be a little hot, although that seat didn't appear to be very hot for Chris Ballard. He's in a very good mood. But it is, May 1st.
Things can change fast.
Again, that's just the way I read it from my seat here in Los Angeles, that there's going to be a competition. There'll be the OTAs, and we're going to go to training camp, and we'll see. And one of the stories of training camp nationwide will be focusing on the splitting of reps in Indianapolis. The splitting of reps will be a big story in Cleveland, right? Where else are we talking about splitting of reps?
New Orleans.
New Orleans? I don't think there will be one in Pittsburgh because Rodgers will get him.
Most likely, we're assuming.
I know that, right? Giants, will we talk about splitting of reps for the Giants between the two vets?
I think Dable kind of squashed that.
Right. Where else are we talking about splitting of reps?
But if Russ is pushing sleds, then maybe, I think they're going
to keep him away from the sleds in New Jersey.
Gets in there.
Yeah. So the only sled he'll be pushing is for one of his kids in November or December.
Yeah, not a lot.
That's what I'm saying. So Indianapolis will be a big, fat spotlight on the number of reps being split in training camp. And then Daniel Jones will get a preseason start. Anthony Richardson will get a preseason start. Then there'll be a third preseason game where neither of them play because it's too close. And then they'll hold it close to the vet. I bet you it'll go up to week 1. We're not telling. We'll find out May 14th who's going to be on the business end of why would we tell them what we're going to do? Why would we tell them what our plans are? How's that for my prediction of how it's going to play out for Indianapolis?
Seems accurate.
And then again, just apples to apples. somebody who's got all this experience with the Giants in the NFC East and all the and playoff experience. Don't forget that one playoff game against Minnesota is what got a long-term contract for Daniel Jones. That and the fact that they couldn't figure out a number with Saquon, which is, as you know, a whole different story. But that's why I think Daniel Jones, apples to apples, is going to win that job in Indianapolis. But again, first day of May. Catch the Rich Eisen Show live weekdays from 12 to 3 p.m. Eastern on Roku Sports Channel in the U.S.